Okay, good evening, everyone. Before I start, can I just check if everyone can hear me and see the slides on the screen? If you can see, right, just type yes in the chat box so that we also can test the chat box function. Okay, thanks, Sam. Dave, thanks, Alex. Thanks, Xiaohui. Okay, so let's start. Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining us today for the webinar. So quick introduction, I'm Jeremy. I'm a CFD dealer, and with me today is Benjamin, who is also a CFD dealer. So for today's webinar, in light of the ongoing GSS this year, we'll be sharing two stocks that we think are worth looking at, okay? So for those of you who are unaware, the annual Great Singapore Sales, or the GSS, this year actually starts from 9 September to 10 October. Okay, so once a year, the Singapore Retailers Association, they actually organize the GSS together with various malls and stores to promote Singapore's tourism industry. So this yearly event usually runs across a span of 6 weeks. And this year, we will be diving deep into two stocks, namely Mapletree Logistics Trust and Keppel DC REIT. Okay, so just to get a rough idea, so how many of you that are here today currently actually own either of the shares of the companies? So if you own either MLT or Keppel DC REIT, you can just type me in the chat function so I can just get a rough idea. Oh, Brian, okay. Oh, okay. So quite a few of you actually own some of the shares of either MLT or Keppel DC REIT. Okay, good. Okay, the slide before, disclaimer slide. Benjamin, disclaimer slide. Yeah. Okay, so as usual, before we start the webinar, I would like to just state a disclaimer. So this webinar actually does not serve as a professional financial advice. So for actual financial advice, you should actually seek advice from a financial advisor after doing a holistic financial assessment. Okay, so let's move on to the outline for today's webinar. So today's outline is quite simple. So today, these are the few pointers that we'll be going through. So for me, I will be going through the first 3 bullet points. And as for the technical analysis and stock ratings, I'll pass on to my colleague Benjamin later on. Okay, so next. Okay, so in 2020, the GSS was actually rebranded as GSS Experience Singapore, if you don't know. So where the event was actually shifted online in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. So this was also partially driven by the rising adoption of e-commerce worldwide, where more promotional seasons are available online and are easily accessible across the globe nowadays. So this actually kind of make the usual GSS revolving around mainly brick and mortar stores more and more irrelevant. So if we were to look at the Singapore Retail Sales Index on the screen, you can see that the sales from offline retailers have been gradually dropping since 2017 on the back of the rising adoption of e-commerce, also mainly accelerated by the onset of COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Okay, next slide. So that being said, the global retail sales from e-commerce actually came in at about 4,938 billion in 2021, and so is projected to reach 7,391 billion by the year 2025. So this is an estimated CAGR of about 10.61%. Okay, moving on, next slide. So actually, in our GSS article last year, we actually focused on the top 3 e-commerce companies in the world, namely Alibaba, Amazon, and JD.com. So you can find the article in the link shown on the screen at the PhillipCapital website. Yes, so my colleague Benjamin also pasted the link in the chat box, so you can refer to that. So as for our GSS article this year, we actually want to shine the spotlight on our fellow Singapore companies. where there are few listed companies with direct exposure to e-commerce. So we have attempted to search for e-commerce proxies among Singapore stocks by looking at the transverse sectors across the e-commerce value chain and picking a few that we think are worth looking at. Okay, moving on, next slide. So our first pick, as mentioned earlier on, would be Mapletree Logistic Trust, or MLT. So most of you would have heard of this stock before, but just let me do a simple sharing on the company's perform. So MLT is Singapore's first Asia-focused logistic REIT, or real estate investment trust, and is listed on the SGX in 2005. So MLT invests in a diversified portfolio of quality and income-producing logistic real estates in countries such as Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, China, Australia, South Korea, Malaysia, Vietnam, and India. And as of 31st March 2022, which is the end of their FY 2021, their portfolio consisted of 183 properties. So as such, MLT is actually a pure play logistic space provider along the e-commerce value chain, with exposure mainly in the Asia Pacific region. Okay, next. So now let's dive deep into the fundamental analysis of MLT. So let's take a quick review on their financial results for FY 2021, okay, which ended 31st March this year. So their gross revenue came in at about 678,000, 20.9% higher year on year, while its net property income actually came in about 592,000, which is about 18.6% year on year. And so the net property income is actually one of the metrics used to evaluate REITs performance, particularly those that are listed in the Singapore jurisdiction. So how you calculate the NPI is basically you take the gross revenue and minusing off the property expenses. So, however, most importantly for you as an investor, you will be more interested in its distributions to its unit holders, which can be gauged by its distribution per unit, or DPU. So for the year ended 31st March 2022, its DPU came in at $0.087, sorry, which is 5.5% higher year on year. So to have a better gauge of MLT's performance, previous slide. Yeah, so to have a better gauge of its performance, it is important to look at its past financial performance for the past 5 years, at least, to ensure that the company actually has a consistent track record of being profitable and distributing its earnings to the unit holders. So if you were to look at the two graphs on the screen, we are able to see that its gross revenue, its net property income, as well as its DPU to unit holders has been growing consistently over the past 5 years. Okay, next slide. Okay, so next let's take a look at the risk capital management. So for MLT, they actually adopted quite a disciplined capital management approach to maintain a healthy balance sheet. So its aggregate leverage ratio, or ALR, actually came in at 36.8% for FY 2021, slightly lower than the 38.4% in the FY 2020. So despite its acquisition of 20 properties and the incurred capital expenditure of 1.8 billion, the ratio is at a healthy level, which is within the 20 to 40% range, and definitely well below the MAS mandated ceiling of 50%. And meanwhile, its interest coverage ratio, which is the ICR. So basically, the ICR measures the number of times the company can pay its obligations using its earnings. So currently, the ICR stands at 5 times, which is, I would say, an extremely healthy level, and also well above MAS minimum requirement of 2.5%. So the current levels of MLT's ALR and ICR should provide some assurance to investors that it has the ability to take on further debt if needed to seize more yield accretive acquisition opportunities to grow its portfolio going forward. So next is debt maturity profile also remains well staggered with an average debt duration of 3.8 years and only 11% of the total debt due in the next year. So lastly, with the US Federal Reserve set to hike rates a few more times this year, this will likely put upward pressure on interest rates in Singapore in the short and medium term. So, however, fortunately, MLT also has adequate interest rate risk management in place, where about 79% of its total debt is hedged or drawn at fixed rate. Okay, next slide. So next, let's take a look at MLT's portfolio, where its revenue comes from. So in terms of diversification, its portfolio of 183 properties is well diversified across 9 countries in the Asia Pacific region. And according to the tenant base, it is so well diversified, whereby 840 of their customers are actually from across various trade sectors, as shown on the screen. So being well diversified, MLT is not dependent on any one market or sector, allowing it to be more resilient during downturns. Okay, next slide. Okay, so thirdly, the overall portfolio occupancy stood at a healthy level of 96.7% and is also much higher than the overall occupancy rate of 89.8% for the Singapore industrial spaces, which was reported in the first quarter this year. And the leasing market remains stable for MLT, attributed to the demand boosted by the e-commerce growth and business inventory stockpiling. Okay, next. So as for its weighted average lease expiry, it is long and well staggered at standing at 3.5 years. So with a balanced mix of single user assets and multi-tenanted buildings to ensure portfolio stability. So for those of you who don't know, the WALE actually essentially measures the average time to expiry of existing leases of properties in the REIT based on the area a tenant occupies and the rent it pays to the REIT. So in short, a longer WALE can serve as a good assurance to investors during an economic downturn, as the tenants are locked in to their tenancy agreement for a longer time. Okay, so next. So lastly, let's discuss this REIT's outlook for 2022 and beyond. So first point would be with the rise in demand during the pandemic, we are starting to see MLT pivoting into new economic assets, such as modernized logistics spaces from the traditional association of warehouse facilities and buildings. This shift to new economic assets would help to catalyze earnings growth and capital outside, in our opinion. And secondly, apart from the strong e-commerce adoption rate, we can expect the rising consumption, the expanding middle-income urban population, the growth of third-party logistic providers, and the trend of supply chain resilience to drive up demand for quality logistics space, while supply of grade A logistics space remains limited. So, however, lastly, it is important to not forget that the uncertainty over the US Federal Reserve rate hikes still remains as a key risk for Singapore REITs for 2022. However, it is not all gloomy for MLT. Previous slide. Not all gloomy for MLT, as with its aforementioned low gearing and adequate interest rate risk management for existing debts. We believe that MLT will have a better chance of prevailing against interest rate hikes. Okay, so that's all for the fundamental analysis part for MLT. So let's move on to the next stop. Okay, so our second pick, which I also mentioned earlier on at the start, will be Keppel Data Center REIT. So Keppel DC REIT was actually listed on SGX on 12 December 2014, and it was also the first pure play data center REIT in Asia. So apart from real estates, which are primarily used for data center purposes, Keppel DC REITs has also just announced last year that they're expanding their investment mandate to explore real estates and assets that are necessary to support the digital economy. So one example would be the establishment of the special purpose vehicle or SPV last year, which was used to acquire M1's network assets. So data centers actually plays a key role in the e-commerce value chain as it helps to support e-commerce activities by providing 24/7 connectivity and uptime for businesses. Also enhance security to deter from cyber attacks and protection of customer information, as well as the ability to handle high transactional demand from increased web traffic, and also through its robust and flexible IT infrastructure. Okay, next slide. So that being said, similarly, let's take a look at their financial results for FY 2021. Similar to what we did for MLT, let's focus on their gross revenue, MPI, and DPU numbers. So for FY 2021, Keppel DC REIT grew their gross revenue and NPI marginally by 2.1% and 1.6% respectively. And this was mainly due to the few acquisitions being announced and completed during 2021. So on top of that, as mentioned earlier on, Keppel DC REIT also invested in M1's network assets following its expansion of its investment mandate to support the digital economy. As such, we will only likely to see these acquisitions and investment to start contributing towards their revenue numbers in FY 2022. Nonetheless, despite the slow growth in the above two metrics, the DPU actually grew by 7.4% in FY 2021. So this number is quite impressive considering that it is a defensive REIT by nature due to its asset class. Showing this actually shows how much demand for data centers has grown over the years, and it's also a good indication how much it will continue to grow over the next 5 to 10 years as cloud computing and e-commerce continues to be a growing trend. And lastly, we look at its performance. Previous slide. Yeah. So lastly, we look at its performance for the past 5 years as shown on the screen. Indeed, from the two graphs on the screen, we are able to see that its gross revenue, MPI, and most importantly, DPU to its unit holders has been growing consistently over the past 5 years as well. Okay, next slide. Okay, so moving on to its balance sheet or its capital management. So Keppel DC REIT's aggregate leverage ratio came in at 34.6% for FY 2021, slightly lower year-on-year basis. Similarly to MLT, the ratio is at a healthy level within the 20 to 40% range, and definitely well below the MAS mandated ceiling of 50%. As for its ICR, interest coverage ratio, despite the slight drop from 13.3 times to 10.8 times year-on-year, it is still very high and strong as compared to most REITs in the market, and it's also way below MAS minimum requirement of 2.5 times. And its relatively low gearing provides for plenty of headroom for the REIT to seize more yield accretive acquisition opportunities in time to come. So its debt maturity profile also remains well staggered with an average debt duration of 3.9 years. And lastly, Keppel DC REIT also has adequate interest rate risk management in place, where about 74% of their total debt is hedged through floating to fixed interest rate swaps. Okay, next. Okay, so let's do a quick review on this portfolio. So as for the end of FY 2021, Keppel DC REIT has a total of 20 data centers across 9 countries and rental income from the 5 trade sectors as shown on the screen. So in terms of rental income by lease type, it is good to note that Keppel DC REIT is slowly growing concentration towards fully fitted as well as shell and core facilities, as these two lease types provide income stability with typically longer lease terms. Meanwhile, it is slowly reducing exposure to co-location leases from 72.7% to 70% year on year. Okay, next slide. Okay, so lastly is overall occupancy rate stands at a record high of 98.3% for FY 2021, while its weighted average lease expiry stands at a healthy level of 7.5 years, an increase from FY 2020's 6.8 years. Okay, next slide. Okay, so lastly, similarly, let's discuss the outlook for this week for 2022 and beyond. So firstly, for 2021, we saw Keppel DC REIT conducted a total of 4 acquisitions with 3 data centers in Guangdong, the Netherlands, and London, as well as an investment in the bonds and preference shares of M1. As such, for FY 2022, we can expect to see these acquisitions start contributing and be properly reflected in the REIT's revenue numbers. So secondly, Keppel DC REIT is also backed by a strong sponsor in Keppel Telecommunications and Transport Limited, or Keppel TNT, which is also a wholly owned subsidiary of offshore and marine conglomerate Keppel Corporation. So both Keppel Corporation and Keppel TNT have a pipeline of more than 2 billion of potential data centers assets for injection into Keppel DC REIT in the future. So Keppel TNT has also granted Keppel DC REIT the rights of first refusal for future acquisition opportunities to its data center. So that being said, this will help Keppel DC REIT secure a stable path for growth into FY 2022. Not to mention, with their relatively low gearing and high debt headroom, Keppel DC REIT will likely continue to acquire more and expand their portfolio in FY 2022. And lastly, third point, similarly to MLT, the uncertainty over the US Federal Reserve rate hikes remains a key risk. But with its aforementioned low gearing and adequate interest rate risk management for existing debts, we believe that Keppel DC REIT would have a better chance of prevailing against interest rate hikes. So that's more or less all for my part. So I'll pass my time now to Benjamin, who will share more about the technical analysis for these two stocks, as well as our overall stock ratings for these two counters. Okay, Benjamin.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. Guys, did you enjoy the session by Jeremy? He went through the fundamental analysis of Mapletree Logistics Trust and Keppel DC REIT. So if you enjoyed this, please type thank you, Jeremy, in the chat, okay? Because Jeremy has burned the midnight oil for this, even though he's sick, okay? If you can hear, right, his voice is a bit low, right? He's sniffing a bit. He's suffering from a flu, all right? So let's really thank Jeremy for this awesome work that he has put in, all right? The dedication, the commitment to all of us, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Now, before I start on my piece, I would like to share with you our community, all right? We have a Telegram channel, and as you can see, these are snapshots from our Telegram channel. So we'll talk about the definitions, right? What is a share buyback, etc. We'll share about the latest news that you should know, all right? And every Friday, we have a Telegram live session to share with you the different things that you can learn and how you can apply them in today's market sentiment, in today's volatile market environment, all right? And of course, what is all this without analysis, right? Look at our Telegram channel name, Stock Trading and Analysis, okay? So we have technical analysis and fundamental analysis shared in our channel as well, all right? So guys, this is the channel. Come and join us All right, we promise a lively session, a lively discussion. Okay, and yes, we also share tools. If you see here, position sizing calculator. This was shared, I think, only on Sunday, right? Yeah, because our community in stock trading analysis channel, they asked for it. They say, hey, this is good stuff. Can I have it? And therefore, we shared it with them. Okay, so I'll leave this page hanging for maybe a minute or so for you to scan the QR code or to click on the link. Not click on the, yes, click on the link. Let me send the link out to you guys. Edwin, welcome, welcome. Edwin says he has joined the group, the Telegram channel. Thank you, welcome. Okay. Okay, are you excited to look at the charts of Mapletree Logistic Trust and Capital DC REIT? Let's go. Okay, first, I want to check with you guys, all right? Are you able to see my screen? If yes, type yes. If not, then I'll be talking to myself, and I won't even know whether you guys are following me. All right. Wow, nice. Dave, familiar name. Wang San, Agnes, Angus, Edwin, Son, Lai Kwai Tai. All right, all right. Wow, so many of you. Perfect. Okay, I see some familiar names. Some of you are from our Telegram channel, right? Okay, so before I talk about Mapletree Logistic Trust and Capital DC REIT, there's always something that you must perform before that. Okay, the first thing is to look at the overall Singapore market. Okay, can you type in Singapore for me if you understand what I'm saying? All right, before you look at individual stocks, you must look at the broad market. So if you're looking at Singapore stocks, you should look at the Singapore market first. Okay, type Singapore in the chat for me if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so if you join us from our Telegram, if you are already in our Telegram channel previously, right, you will have known that because I've been sharing this with you guys for several times. Let me show you. So our Singapore stock market is has been ranging, right, between about 2,580 to about 3,480 thereabouts. Okay, can you see that? 90% of the time, the price of STI is within this yellow rectangle. All right, so what does it tell you? It tells you that when the value of STI is near here, right, near the upper limit, there is a higher tendency of it dropping. Can you see this? When it's near this upper limit, price of STI drops, value of STI drops, value of STI drop. And now, where's the price of STI? Near the upper limit or far away from the upper limit? Can you type in the chat for me? Lai Kwan Tai, welcome. Welcome to join our channel. Okay. Upper limit, right? Yeah, it's near. Yes, correct. It's near the upper limit. Okay, I want you to type this so that you can remember, because later when we analyze both of the stocks, then it gives you a complete picture. It gives you the context. All right. Edwin, about 180 points away. Wow, good. Very specific. Okay. Okay. So with this in mind, let's take a look at Mapletree Logistic Trust. Okay, this is the weekly chart. Let me switch it to the daily chart. Okay, so what can you see? First thing, you can see that the price of Mapletree Logistic Trust is on a super uptrend, right? Since 2009. Can you see this? 2009, all the way until today. All right. And Jeremy shared that interest rates, right, are rising, and REITs should take a small beating at least. Correct? And it's true. You see, in August, the price of Mapletree Logistic Trust, right, started to come down. But can you see? It got supported by its lowest trend line over here. Can you see this? If you can see this, type yes for me in the chat. Okay, wonderful. Okay, following, so far so good. Okay. Now, when I draw this purple downtrend line, right, you can see that it touches several of the price touches a few times, correct? So this means that it's quite a good downtrend line to draw, all right? And sometime last month, do you see that the price of Mapletree Logistic Trust broke out of the trend line here? All right, watch my cursor here. Then it collapsed. Why? Due to the Fed, okay? He said that, oh, interest rates, inflation is still very high. They need to tighten the market even further, right? They have to raise interest rates even more. It spooked the whole market. It dropped. And these 2 weeks, just like the stock market, right? It rose up a bit. Okay, so now, can you actually tell whether the coming few months will Mapletree Logistic Trust be in an uptrend, or will it come down and form a downtrend? All right, so this is the thing we are all here for, right? Okay, let's analyze. Okay, I would say that this could be one of the possibility. Price continues to drop, okay, and bounce up. Why? Okay, let me zoom in. Okay, can you see the RSI indicator? The RSI value, right, is in its neutral zone, 53. All right, so this suggests a price could go up or come down, or just go sideways for a short while. All right, so in the event if the RSI indicator comes down, the price will also come down because the RSI is based on price. All right, so if the price comes down, the RSI indicator will come down, and when it's at its oversold region, okay, below 30, then there is a chance of a reversal. Okay, then the price you should see the price go up. Okay, but remember the context of STI. Just now we shared that STI is in its upper limit. Okay, upper limit. But does it mean that it can go higher a bit more? Can, right? Because Edwin mentioned that there's 180 points away. Okay, so there's always that possibility that STI can go up a bit more before coming down. So how does this translate to Mapletree Logistic Trust? The second scenario, right, is that the price of it can go up a bit more, okay, before coming down. Clear? Is everyone following me? There's a bit of headroom, right, for STI. So for Mapletree Logistic Trust, it could also go up a bit more before coming down. Okay, either to this support here at $1.70, or to retest the trend line over here. Okay, now if you ask me truly, hey Ben, will it go up, will it go down, or will it go sideways? I tell you, I really don't know. I really don't know. Okay, tonight or tomorrow, the Fed will be announcing interest rates. Okay, whether they are maintaining the interest rates, or they're going to raise it aggressively, or they're just going to raise it slightly. We won't know. All right, so now the best thing is when you are unsure, when you do not have a clear bias or direction for this stock, Mapletree Logistic Trust, the best thing to do is to stay out of it. Okay, so if you are clear on this, type stay out. Right, if you cannot tell that the price is more inclined to go up or the price is more inclined to come down, the best thing you can do is to stay out. You don't lose money. Okay, yes, stay out for now. I'm not saying stay out forever, stay out for now, correct. Till when? Till we see something more convincing, all right? That means the RSI is either very high, so you know that the price is coming down. Or the RSI is very low, like somewhere here, right, on 2nd of September, and it coincides with this trend line. And you wait for a bounce. Remember? Guys, who attended our Telegram live session last week? Remember, I shared, always look for buying opportunities on the bounce, not on the way down. right? I see that a few of you are from our Telegram channel, right? Dave, yes, correct. So if I said it, type me in the chat so everybody will know, right? Wait for the bounce, then you and look for your entry point, okay? Don't buy here. Don't put your price alert. Don't put your order here and then get triggered so soon, okay? Lim, I'm new to this. How to join Telegram? Okay, later I'll flash the QR code again with the link. Maybe Vanessa or Jeremy can send the link first. Yeah. Okay. 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 So following me, Maple Tree. Let's look at Keppel DC REIT. AJBU. Okay. Let's look at its long term. Okay. So for Keppel REIT, Keppel DC REIT, sorry. Jeremy shared that the fundamentals are very, very strong. All right. And IT actually experienced a surge, right? The adoption surge. We can see it here, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and beyond, right? It just shot up astronomically, exponential growth, all right? And then again, rumors of interest rates started to creep in, right? I'm not too sure what happened over here, but interest rates rumors started somewhere here, right? And its price dropped all the way. Okay, so using the same method of analysis, right? Always identify the trend, identify the support and resistance, and you can very clearly tell that Keppel DC REIT is in a very strong downtrend. Okay, very strong downtrend. You see, it touches here once, here nearly, here, very nearly, right? And if I clone this line down, you can see touches nicely, perfectly. Okay, so these two are very good downtrend lines. Okay, now knowing that the fundamental analysis of Keppel DC REIT is so good, right? Just now you said that his sharing is good, and when I look at the graphs that he presented, the data that Jeremy presented, wow, they are really enticing. Okay, but fundamental analysis only plays a part. Technical analysis plays the other part. Okay, it is not one is better than the other. It is a combination of both that makes your analysis more holistic. Okay, if you agree, type holistic for me in the comment section. What comment section? In the chat. Comment section is for Telegram Live. Okay, good. I'm happy that you agree that we need to take a holistic approach by combining fundamental analysis with technical analysis. Okay, so knowing that Keppel DC REIT is in a downtrend, what type of opportunity should you be looking for? Should you be looking for buying opportunities, or should you be looking for selling or shorting opportunities? What do you think? Should you be looking for buying opportunities, going long, or should you be looking for selling or shorting opportunities? Buying, shorting. Okay, actually, these are trick questions because I didn't state the time period. Okay, you could buy for a few days, you could short for a few days, you could short for a few months. All are correct answers because we need to know your strategy. We need to know the time duration. Okay. So when you say buying, I suppose you're waiting for the price to drop to the lower trend line, right? Before you buy a bit up. Okay. I still hold it, cannot sell now. Tan Pei Hua, why cannot sell now? Can sell anytime. It's more like whether you want to or not, right? Depending on your strategy. Okay. And when you say short, I hope you're not talking about shorting now, right? Short somewhere here, right? Near the upper downtrend line. See, this would have presented you with a perfect opportunity. Okay. Here also nearby. Okay. Here, of course, is a false breakout, come back down, On the bounce down, you short, right? Brian Ong, what was the rumor that caused the downtrend? Here, I don't know. Yeah, here I really don't know. Okay. Towards the end of 2021, it is interest rates. All right. Lim is, Tan Pei Hua will make a loss in selling as I bought it at a higher price. Okay, never mind. This is a good, take it as a lesson, right? Learn to combine technical analysis with fundamental analysis, and you could discover better buying or selling points in the future. All right. Lim, can you talk about Nikko AM REIT ETF? Later, if we have time. All right. Because I want to dig deeper into Capital DC REIT. Okay, so if you are a longer term trader, investor, the time to buy isn't here yet. Okay, so let me talk to the longer term investors first, all right? What you'll want to see is the price of Capital DC REIT break out first of this downtrend line, come back a bit, and go back up. Then where do you buy? You'll be asking. Somewhere here lah, at the bounce, okay? But you must also pay attention, if you buy here, right, there's a tendency of the price of the share price of Capital DC REIT to get rejected by this resistance level at 2.11. Okay. Let me remove this and draw it better for you. So I'm talking to the long-term investors. Okay, it could go like that first before going up. Okay, so catch the bounce here or catch the bounce somewhere here. Okay, so this for the longer term. Now in the short term, few days time, is there a trade that you can take? Maybe I see something here. Do you see this? Rectangle base here. Okay, let me remove all these. Do you see this rectangle base here? That means that the price is somewhat accumulating or okay, a big move can be coming or a big move down can be coming also. We don't know. We try not to predict right now because we can always be very wrong, all right? So in a case, the price comes back here and comes down. Is there a short-term trading opportunity? Yes. Okay, you wait for here, then you can go short. Okay, why? First, it's nearer to the upper downtrend line. Second, it is at the resistance here, 2.05. All right, so with these two things in mind, there is confluence around this area. You can take the short trade down to probably 1.92, 1.93, okay, and take your profits. Okay, because we don't know if the price will move back up later. Okay, if the price shoots up, right, and you didn't take your profit here, then very wasted lah. At the same time, remember to put a stop loss. Okay, always practice this behavior by putting a stop loss. So where should your stop loss be? Those who are in our Telegram channel for some time, you will know where to put your stop loss. Okay. I'm just drawing arbitrary, okay? It doesn't mean that your stop loss must be here. Okay. You can use the ATR indicator to help you set your stop loss several multiples away. Okay. Now let me look at your questions. Lim, how to get into this charting? Yes, I'm using TradingView. They have a paid and a free account. Okay, so what I'll do tonight is I will look for a tutorial, a YouTube tutorial on TradingView and send it out in the Telegram channel. Okay, so if you haven't joined, please join our channel so you get you know what things what tools you are using and how you can use them effectively, all right, for your trading and investment journey. Okay, Lim, buy Means now buy 195 and sell around 211. Possible, but I do not really encourage this. Firstly, because 195 is here, right? 195 is here. It's nearly halfway already of this rectangle. Can you see? So let me shift this down. Okay, can you see it's nearly halfway here? The halfway line is somewhere here. Very near the halfway line already. If you want to buy, right, you buy somewhere here. 193, 194. Then let it go up. Remember to take your profit here and place a stop loss level, right? Okay, place a stop loss level and take profit level here. Okay, does this answer your question, Lim? Very good, huh? Keep them coming in. Okay, I assume okay, huh? Okay, Nico AM REIT ATF. Do you have the ticker? Nico AM REIT ETF. Let me search for the ticker. Is it this one? And just type here, see if we can find it. Nico AM REIT. CFA. Okay. CFA. This one. Okay. So first thing is always to zoom out to get the overall picture, the macro view. Okay, this chart a bit strange. If I may say, do you see this? And do you see this? So this CFA only has two levels. It's either between $1.01 to $1.15, or you'll be stuck between 1.22 to not so high to about 1.31. Do you see this? There's no trend. So if you want to buy, same thing like Capital DC REIT, you got to buy near the base. Okay, maybe $1.02, $1.03. Put a stop loss. Where is your target profit? Where's your take profit level at? Maybe 1.15. Okay. Okay. Let me know. Okay. And do you know that you can use two different instruments? Right? You can use your cash to buy these stocks. Okay. Either to buy and hold for the long term, or to buy and perform swing trade. That means short term, right? Few days to a few weeks. Or you can use CFD. CFD is stands for contracts for differences. All right. So how CFD works, right, is that you can buy, okay, and let the price appreciate, and that is how you make money. Okay. The other way to make money is you can short sell and let the price drop, and that is how you make money. Okay. So comparing cash to CFD, okay, cash you can only buy it one way, long. You can only go long. That means you buy thinking and hoping that the price will go up, then you make a profit. Okay, you cannot short it down. Understand? However, for CFD, you can have you can trade in two directions, up and down. Of course, CFD is leverage. Okay, CFD requires you to put up a margin. There's always a possibility of getting a margin call. CFD also amplifies your gains and amplify your losses. This is why I always emphasize that a stop loss and a take profit level is always necessary. Okay, it's always necessary. You want to save yourself and protect yourself from financial destruction, right? Nobody wants to go broke overnight or in 1 week's time. Okay, nobody aims for that. Nobody wants and nobody wishes for that to happen. Okay, so you can explore more on CFD on our website. Just now Jeremy shared, right, that our CFD website has a blog, so you can check it out. Let me search for it. Okay, we have a lot of information on our about CFD on our website, and we also have promotions, ongoing promotions. So I encourage you to take a look at our website. And if you want to sign up for a CFD account, I will send you a personalized link later. Okay, why personalized? So that you are under Jeremy's and my care, our team's care. All right, so that when you call in, hey, this is really Jeremy. Hey, this is really Ben. Okay, not some person that that you don't know and nobody will take care of you or nobody will care about you. Okay, there is a chance that when you call in, we'll pick up the phone because we have a team of 9 other people, right? But you can always look for us, right? You can say, hey, hi, is Ben around? Is Jeremy around? Can I speak to them, please? Okay. Okay, K. Can you please talk about ticker symbol ACV? Let me see what is that. So are you referring to phrases or US one? I suppose it's phrases, huh? Wow, what happened today? Wow. Phrases downtrend, very clear. Let me draw it out for you. Can you see something like that? I don't know what happened over here. The huge gap, then it didn't go anywhere before this sudden drop. Yeah, so for stocks like this with huge gaps here, unpredictable, it can go sideways for some time, right? I try to stay out of it. Yeah, you may also want to stay out of it because you don't know whether you'll strike the jackpot here or you'll experience heartbreak here. No? All right, okay. Okay, Mike is asking C38U. Oh, phrases because failed privatization. Okay. But even before the failed privatization, the chart also not very nice way lah. Okay. C38U, Capital Land Commercial Trust. Okay, uptrend all the way, uptrend. Okay. But I show something that I see. I see that it's also trading in a range somewhere here like that. Okay, so can buy, cannot buy, same thing lah. Now it's near the halfway mark, right? Wait for it to come down, then you take a look, or wait for it to be on top, and you can perform the short sale strategy, all right, in the short to mid term. Okay, Singapore stocks, a lot of them are either going sideways or coming down, so be a bit more careful, all right? Put your stop loss, put your target profit, take profit price level. All right, OCBC, FLCT. Wow, I'm afraid I cannot answer. I cannot go through all. Okay, so KKK, are you in our Telegram channel? Can you let me know? Are you in our Telegram channel? No. Okay. Why? Why? Join us. Okay, I will do an analysis on OCBC and FLT for you, just for you. All right. By the way, inside our Telegram channel, right, we talk about oil, we talk about natural gas, we analyze US stocks also. So come and join us. How to join? Okay, can somebody, Jeremy or Vanessa, send the link so that KKK can click on it? How to join? You can scan this QR code. Okay, take out your handphone, scan this QR code, or click on the link in the chat. Okay, Evelyn, if we want to start on CFD, do we ask for it here? Very good question. Okay, so Telegram settle, okay, here. So for CFD, okay, scan this QR code or click on this link, okay. Why? First, you get to enjoy low commissions. Look, US market from $1.88 USD flat here. Okay, never buff you. All stated on our website. Singapore stocks 0.08%, no minimum commission. Okay, and when you click on this link or when you scan your QR code, okay, CFD is already pre-selected for you. That means you don't need to go and click other things. You just go in, take a look, Cash Plus account. Okay, Cash Plus account is the low cost one. This one, Cash Plus. Okay, then you scroll all the way down, you'll see contracts for differences CFD already selected for you. Okay, why should you open today? Why should you click this link? Why should you scan the QR code? So that Jeremy, myself, and our team can really support you through your financial journey, through your investment journey. Is that okay? Okay. If you understand, right? If you understood what I just shared in the past 25 minutes, 30 minutes, please type okay in the chat for me, in the comment section. Yeah, in the chat for me. My goodness, I'm planning for a Telegram live this Friday, and I keep getting confused about asking people to type in the comment section or in the chat box. Okay, type okay for me. All right. And if you need to keep in touch, if you need to call us, all right, you need to reach us via email. Feel free. Okay, feel free. This is our contact number. We share the same contact number and share the same email address. All right. Okay. So have you learned anything? Have you learned something today? Have you learned something today? If you did, type yes in the chat for me. Wow, good. KH, Dave. Wow. Xiong Hui, Wong Chu, Tan Pek Hua, Lim Liang, Angus, Tony, Alex, Samson, Doreen, Lai Kwan Tai. Thank you, very helpful. Thank you. So this is what we do. We aim, we strive to bring the most value to you, because we know the difficulty of being an investor. We know the difficulties of being a solo trader, and we don't want you to be alone in your journey. All right. Okay. Hui Fang, thank you for sharing. It is our greatest pleasure and honor. All right. So with this, I shall end our webinar here. Jeremy and I, we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. We enjoyed discussing and walking through the whole presentation, the whole webinar, planning for it, and even executing it. You guys really lift our energy. You guys bring a lot of joy, right? Because you guys really want to learn and you guys want to apply all this. All right. So with all this said, thank you, take care, and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks everyone for joining.
See you on your Telegram. Good. Okay. Good night, everyone.